So this is a Bailey Unicorn Cadiz. Going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van, you've got the jockey wheel, handbrake and hitch for the car. This is stuff we'll take you through in person here on site. On the right hand side of the van at the front, you've got a storage locker, and you've got the same on the other side of the van. So you know, obviously because the Bailey hasn't got a storage locker on the front, so you can use these lockers as that storage. Either side at the front of the van, just below them lockers, you'll find the wind down legs, and they are there just for stabilising the caravan rather than lifting the caravan. If you lifted the caravan with these legs, it could potentially damage the floor of the caravan. You then got your water pump connection, which very simply pulls out and pushes into the side of the van. You can put the cover down to lock it in place with a little tab on top here if you wish to. And then the pickup pipe will drop down inside the aqua roll itself. Aldi heating system. So essentially that's a heating flue for the heating and hot water system when it's running on gas. You do need to make sure that is clear and not blocked, as if not covered up by anything, as it gets very hot and it could potentially be an issue if it was covered. Side locker, you've got your regulator and the gas bottle. You've got your gas valve on top of the bottle, so you've got the on and off, or open and close on the gas flow. And like I said, you've got your regulator on the side of the van just there. Fridge vents are there to allow the hot air at the back of the fridge unit. You've got a gas flue on this side to allow anything from the gas system to come out. And then they'll also take in some cool air, these vents, so it keeps the back of the fridge unit cool. Motor mover and wheel nuts. The motor mover will demonstrate to you while you're here on site. And we'll also torque the wheel nuts while you're here so you can see they've been tightened to the correct manufacturer settings. Next to the wheel, you've got your two grey waste pipes, so the larger diameter holes there, the two grey bits of grey pipe will go into, so that the waste water or the fresh water that goes in the front of the van, once it's been through the sinks and the shower, can come back out. On the back of the van on either side, again, you've got wind down legs, and again, you'd never lift the caravan with these legs, they are just there for stabilising the van. On the rear of the van, you've got your toilet flush tank. The tank here takes 3.5 litres of fresh water and a cap full of the pink fluid prior to use. You've then got your toilet locker down below, which you release by pulling up the orange handle and pulling the cassette towards you. Toilet flaps open inside the van, so I can't release it at the moment. You've got the waste neck here that turns out, so you can tip the waste away, and a grey cap here that you can measure your fluid with when it goes into the cassette. And then on the back of the cassette, right at the far back end, you've got an orange pressure relief button, so as you're tipping the waste away, it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. You'll need to put 1 litre of water in here and a cap full of the blue fluid prior to use. Coming down the door side of the van, you've got a storage locker for underneath the single bed on this side, and you can access that also from the inside of the van. You've got your battery and mains power lead coming to the side of the van, so that is there. So the battery's there obviously to power the 12 volt systems. And then the mains power coming to the van will charge the battery, run anything else on 240 volt, including your heating and hot water if you're on a powered site. If you're on a off-grid site, then you'll use the gas to power almost everything on board the van. Got another storage locker on this side, as I said, same as the one on the other side. Barbecue gas point, your wind down leg, and a 3-pin socket out to your awning. I'm going to go inside the van now and show you how the inside works. So as you come in the door, on the left hand side, you've got your control panels for the caravan. You've got your master power switch, your water pump, your light switch, and your awning switch. Like I said, so you've got your master, water pump, light, and awning light for the outside of the van. Down below that, you've got your Aldi control panel, which I'll come back to in a moment. You have got some options as you go through the screen here: settings, internal temperature, battery voltage, and then the time. Time isn't correct at the moment, we haven't set it at the moment. To fill the water system up, which is the first thing you're going to do on board the van, you're going to come underneath the seat on the right hand side, and you're going to need to make sure the yellow drain down valve is in the parallel with the floor position as it is at the moment. If that valve was upright and pointing towards the bottom of the seat, the water system would actually drain straight back out on the floor rather than filling the system on board the van. So like I said, valve parallel with the floor before you fill the water system. Once you've got that valve shut, you're going to come over to every tap on board the caravan and open them all up on the hot side. You will actually notice I've already bled the system just to save a bit of time. So you're going to open all the taps up on the hot side. Once they're all open, That's the sink in the kitchen, the sink in the bathroom, and the shower. You can come over to the control panel, and you're going to turn on your water pump. So you're going to come water pump on, as you can now see. Oh, sorry, let me do that again. Water pump off, water pump on, and the water system will start filling up. Once the water system's full, you'll have water running continuously out of every tap on board the caravan. At that point, you can shut all the taps off. You do need to make sure that the water system is completely bled on every tap, because if it's got air in the system, it'll be trying to warm air up in the onboard water tank rather than warming the water, which could cause a problem to the water heating system. So like I said, all the taps shut once that water system is full. At that point, you can come over to your Aldi control panel, just here by the door, and we can run you through that. So it's saying gas out. The reason for that is I've hit gas on here, and it's actually got no gas turned on at the moment. So on the top left-hand corner of this screen, it's got on and off. So as you see, if I hit off or on, it will turn on and off. What that means is it's actually controlling the heating and hot water control panel just here. And if it says on, then you're ready to go, and you can start warming the caravan up or heating the water on board the van. Once you've selected on here, you'll need to come across to the right to the internal room temperature. At the moment, as you can see, we're on 29 degrees. We can go down or up to set the internal temperature on the caravan. If we come across to the right again, you've got a tap symbol here, and you can select hot water on or off. It will self-ignite, it will self-boost on this particular caravan, so you don't need to put it onto boost, for instance. But you've got on or off. If it's on, obviously the water system will start warming up. If it's off, then the water system won't. Come across to the right again here, you've got the option to run gas. So it will self-ignite on gas at any time you try to ignite it. It says off at the moment, hit the on, and that's when the boiler system will start trying to ignite on gas. If for any reason it fails and the gas bottle's turned on, I'd advise you go to the hob on the opposite side of the van, because that's the last point on the gas system. Get gas through to there, essentially ignite it on there and bleed the system, and then come back over and try and reignite it on the control panel just here. If we come across to the right, I'm just going to turn the gas system off so it doesn't fail again. You'll see we've got a number 1 here. What that relates to is the amount of power coming into the caravan from the caravan site you're on. So you've got off, so there's no power coming in for if you're off grid. But you've got the option of 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts coming into the van for the Aldi heating and hot water system. It will depend on what caravan site you're on to what you'll have this set to. For instance, if you're on a site where there's only 1 kilowatt of power available, then you'll select 1 kilowatt. If you ask at the site office when you arrive there, they should be able to help and advise to what you need to run this on. So that is your heating and hot water systems for the caravan. There are some advanced options in this control panel, but for those we do advise you read the manual, because if I tried to explain them in a video, it'd probably take me 2 to 3 hours to complete the video. So that's your heating and hot water, as I said. Very simple and straightforward to use. Works pretty much like most household systems these days. But if you ever need any more advice on it, please do give us a call here. On the opposite side of the caravan, we've got the fridge system. So at the moment the fridge is off, and obviously we all know this is important to get the beer and wine nice and cold. Spin the dial round to the plug symbol, just here, for 240 mains, and you'll control the temperature of the fridge on mains power on this dial here. The thicker the line is, the colder the fridge will be. Going back to the opposite side, on the control switch, you've got the option to run 12 volt mode. So what that will essentially do is allow you to run 12 volt from the car you're towing with through to the caravan, and it'll actually make the fridge work as a cool box. It will not completely cool the fridge, it will just chill the fridge. So essentially the beers and wine will be a little bit cold before you get there. So like I said, once you get into the car, come inside, turn it round to the 12 volt switch here. You don't need to have the control panel on inside the door. The fridge will automatically start working through the 12 volt system. If you want to ignite the fridge on gas because you're off grid, you can spin it to the gas option just here at the bottom. You'll press in the temperature control and hit the igniter at the same time. Once the gas system has ignited, this little orange line that you see here will come round into the green. As long as that orange line is in the green, you'll continue to hold the temperature control button for a further 5 to 10 seconds. So once that line's in the green, 5 to 10 seconds on the temperature control, then slowly release the valve. Essentially what you're doing is, when you're holding this valve, is allowing a little bit more gas through so it warms the thermocouple up inside the fridge. So essentially keep an eye on the orange line for a few seconds after you've released the temperature control here. And if it stays ignited, then it's getting nice and cold. Again, on gas, you'd use the temperature control on this side to control the temperature of the fridge. Hob, grill and oven work very much like your standard household items. Igniter on the front and gas controls across the front. 240 ring on the back of here will only work when you've got 240 mains connected to the caravan. Again, with the microwave on the other side of the van, works very much like your household microwave. The only thing to remember is not to leave your microwave plate in whilst you're travelling. If the door potentially popped open, comes across, hits the front of your cooker or your fridge, then it's going to cause a bit of damage. Underneath the bed on the right hand side, as we come down to the bathroom, you will find your table for in the front of the van. Last thing we go through on the inside of this particular van is the toilet system. You have an electric flush on the toilet. On the top left hand side here, you have a red light that illuminates when the toilet waste cassette is full. And down below the toilet, you'll have your grey waste handle, which you need to open up to allow the toilet waste into the cassette underneath the van. The toilet seat does turn for your convenience. However, when you are removing the toilet cassette from underneath the van, you need to make sure that toilet seat is pointing straight towards the front of the van. If it isn't pointing towards the front of the van, it'll lock the toilet cassette in place, so the toilet cassette can't be removed while the toilet is being used. So that is the Bailey Unicorn Cadiz. If you have any further questions on the van, please don't hesitate to call us here at the Caravan Company, and we'll be more than happy to help. We thank you for your business, and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon when you collect your caravan. But for now, bye bye.